What we start with Youngboy, Never Broke Again. Youngboy NBA with his, I don't know, what album number is this? Top. He has a lot of albums, dude.
So this is his technically it's this is called his second album, and that would be his second album alongside his 16 mixtapes.
Yeah, sure.
This is his fourth project in the last year. 3 mixtapes and an album, but they're all the same. They're all full length projects, fully produced, and they'll kind of get treated with the same, attention from his fans, right? This is going to go number one. This will be his third number one among those 4 projects. The other one went number 2. Like he's a big force. So album 2, like I think that's hilarious. I don't think anyone would think of this as his second album.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And at least I wouldn't, in looking at this long list of what's called albums on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
And, Top, this most recent album, second album, very long. It's about an hour long. I gotta be honest, Dave, could only get about 30 minutes through. Did not find this particularly good. Felt like he was trying to almost do like an impersonation, I feel like, of a lot of other artists, and kind of like, yeah, we've mentioned the word like chameleon, be a chameleon before. It feels like he kind of just tries to like take things and blend in, I'm amazed more so that he just has this rabid fan base, dog. Like this shit's gonna go number one. It's insane.
Yeah. And the thing about his rabid fan base, I think, is very unique, is that he is the king of YouTube. He's like, like 13, right now he's about 13.5 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Very good number, but not superstar. But the past month, every single week, he has been the top artist on YouTube. That's leading up to this new project. He gets like 45 million YouTube streams a week. Like, it's insane. And he did this like most of 2019. He was the most streamed artist on YouTube then too. And it's just kind of interesting to see a guy who maybe it's due to his fan base being young and not being able to afford Spotify subscriptions, or just the accessibility of YouTube. I'm not really sure what it is. It's tough to narrow that down. But he is the YouTube king, and it definitely helps with his output. He puts out a lot of music, and everything he puts out gets viciously consumed by his fans. He's got, I think, a dozen videos with 100 million views in the last like 2 years or something absurd like that. So it's like he matching volume with popular consumption. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, I figured we would talk about him today, just because there wasn't much other music. Like, you talk about Top, we could have talked about 38 Baby 2 or Still Flexin', Still Steppin', the other 2 that came out this year. I feel like my thoughts around NBA Youngboy haven't changed in a while. But, he's this popular guy, and he kind of brings you like that street pain with like a southern drawl, right? As a guy from Baton Rouge, like that comes across. And I think sometimes you get kind of like that, like leaned out codeine sound that you expect of someone like Future. You can definitely see the parallels with that. He's featured on the Future album Trillionaire. It's a pretty good combo. I think they kind of do a lot of the same things. But if you listen to the pod, you know that me and Pat generally aren't the biggest Future fans, right? Like, I think Future has highs, but he also has a lot of low points. And I think a guy like Youngboy, who, like Future, has a lot of music out, there's just gonna be duds, right? And I don't really connect with a lot of his like lyrical stuff. Like, and I think he's a good rapper. He's not like a mumble rapper, but
yeah,
he, like on this album Top, he gets pretty introspective towards the end on like To My Lowest, but like it just doesn't really hit for me when I've already heard like 16 other tracks. I'm more a fan of like his kind of like banger stuff, and he usually has 1 or 2 of those a project. He usually has a song or 2 I like every project, and he's had good features, right? Yeah, his song with Juice WRLD, Bandit, was a really big hit. That song goes. But I've never once viewed him as a project artist. And you also don't help yourself when you got like 20 songs deep on any of these projects. So I get the appeal, but he's definitely less is more for me.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's why YouTube feels like such a perfect platform for him, right? He's like picking out the perfect songs, making the videos too. I think he has a great name. You can condense it down to Youngboy NBA or Never Broke Again, and I feel like that really connects, probably with younger people a little bit more so than older school hip hop fans. And then there's also, I think, just the aspect that um, he obviously knows how to like just be famous. Like he knows how to like keep these numbers up. I'm these long albums. I'm sure he knows that these songs aren't necessarily all going to be grabbing critical acclaim, but he's
Mhm.
like, get those numbers up. That's what the game is all about now. So in a lot
Mhm.
of ways, he knows exactly what he's doing. I give him a ton of credit for that because I mean, if you're making pretty mid music, to be able to find ways to really like make yourself pop and stand out can be difficult. But he's obviously figured out the game. So shout out to him.
Right. And I think people are just interested in him too, because unlike someone like 6ix9ine who just trolls and
Right.
actively seeks attention, NBA Youngboy like genuinely is controversial, right? He's had lots of legal issues. He has a million kids. You know, he has fights with his ex girlfriend, sometimes violent. Right? Like he has a troubled past, and he's openly talked about how he struggles to escape what awaits him back home and stuff like that. And I think people like seeing that from him. He's pretty open about what his life is. So I think Joe, he was interested in him, and that probably leads to the music as well. So yeah, I mean, I expect this album. They're saying this might be his biggest album to date in terms of first week sales. So um, I want to hear more features from him. I was looking and I actually realized he doesn't do as many features as I thought, but like he had the one on DaBaby's album this year,
Mm-hmm.
Jump. I thought that was really good. I think he and a few years back with Little Yachty, NBA Youngboat. I think he can really burst in with a great sense of energy on guest spots. So I want to see more of those.